Hello, everybody. I am J. Robin Stacks, and we are back with the good stuff here in Master League with some Go battles that I played today. I reached the rating of 2985, which will hopefully, I'm praying, will put me back in the top 500. Seems to be like a good place. This is one of the sets I played today, and I wanted to showcase you some battles, so let's jump right in. So I had some decent leads today, and I also had a situation which I have yet to encounter in Go Battle League. I don't know. This is the situation right here. So get a bad lead with Togekiss, insta switch into Dialga, and they just quit. Don't know if that person ran across some kind of emergency. Perhaps maybe their pizza showed up and they had to go right away. But okay, I guess we'll take it. In this next matchup, we get a little bit more of a favorable lead. This is the Melmetal. And I'm still waiting to run into FPS Sticks line of Melmetal, Togekiss, Dialga. So the way that I want to play this matchup out, if I think I'm going to run into that line, is I always over farm with the Giratina. Like I don't throw with the Shadow Ball until I have built up significantly past the Shadow Ball. And so that's what I do here. So expecting to get some kind of a switch, because this is a really good matchup for me, but they end up not switching, so I guess I'm fine with that. And so we're just going to keep hammering away at each other here. Again, I get to the Shadow Ball, and I just keep building up past that. And so I don't know what to expect here. If they're going to shield, I'm like getting ready to switch, and they end up not switching. So we're just going to match shields here, go 1 for 1, and I'm going to farm this Melmetal down. But they end up not letting that happen and making a switch, which this is fine with me too. We're going to go 1-1 into the Melmetal Dialga matchup, which is pretty good if you're the Melmetal. Probably could have waited a little bit longer for them to throw, and they end up shielding here. So I think I'm just going to match shields when I know that they have no shields, because I'm going to be able to get to 3 superpowers before Dialga even gets to 2 Iron Heads. So this is totally fine for me. And I'm just going to get to that 3rd superpower. This is the 2nd one, I believe. Yep, 2nd one. And I'm just going to get to the 3rd superpower. Build up a little bit past that. And we're easily going to be able to KO the Dialga. And I guess we'll just wait to see what my opponent brings back in. They like to come in with a Kyogre. So I just insta switch, knowing that their Melmetal is very low, and I'm expecting to get some kind of sack swap from my opponent, which they try, and then we get the Thunder off, and it's pretty much GG. In addition, if the sack swap was successful for them, this still would have been a really close match, because I have the Giratina in the back with loaded energy, as well as a loaded, still half health Melmetal. So I think we had that one pretty much in the bag. This next one, I gotta say, like, this team hates Garchomp. The team that I'm running does not do very well against Garchomp. So we get a Garchomp lead in this case, and I'm just trying to like figure out. I'm don't know how to really best play against Garchomps. Probably there is no really good way to play against Garchomps, because Garchomp just counters my entire team. So my plan here was to switch out after I throw this Shadow Ball. Hopefully they don't shield. And the reason why I switch out into Dialga is the Dragon Breath is going to do super effective damage. So we'll at least get some chip damage on the Garchomp, as opposed to trying to Shadow Claw or Thunder Shock or Rock Slide or Superpower, which none of those moves are that great. So that was kind of my best option, and I just went with it. They end up switching into Heatran, which is not the best counter to Dialga on a switch in, because I'm still going to be able to do lots of damage and put lots of shield pressure on my opponent, even though it's a pretty good matchup for them. Basically now, we're going to be able to farm down. They had 2 fire spins. I've got that off just before they were able to get their flamethrower. And so yeah, now we're back in this terrible Garchomp matchup, and I'm basically thinking I'm going to have to try and catch the Outrage on Melmetal at this point, because they baited me with a Sand Tomb. I was ahead on Shadow Claw energy to get off 2 Shadow Claws before they can get off 2 Outrages, but they baited us, and then we just time it absolutely perfect. So finally, we get the catch up on the Garchomp teams. So, gonna be able to Rock Slide here. This is not going to take out the Garchomp, but I didn't want to debuff myself just yet. And then they end up switching into Kyogre. And I sort of misplayed this at this point here by going for the superpower first. I think at the time I wasn't sure if I was going to get off 2 charge moves, but watching back the battles, I definitely could have easily gotten to a Rock Slide and then another superpower. So we sort of screwed that up there, but that's okay. We still got off 2 superpowers. Our Giratina is very healthy in the back, so as long as this isn't Blizzard, we are okay. I think that they threw right away and didn't try to go for the Blizzard because they thought that I was going to throw the Shadow Ball, which I probably was going to do. And because they just threw Surf, I know this one's just going to be another Surf. And maybe they have Thunder, I don't know. Yeah, they end up throwing 2 Surfs, which is really good. I was really nervous here, hoping this wasn't an Outrage. We barely survived the Sand Tomb, lose the CMBTI, survive the Sand Tomb, and we're gonna finally beat a Garchomp team. I'm like 99% sure that this is the first win I've ever taken against a Garchomp line of any type, because Garchomp just completely destroys that line of 3. So going into the next match, here, I think that we get another favorable lead. Wait and see here. Yep, it's the Kyogre lead, so pretty sweet. I'm pretty happy about this. I'm just going to say in. They switched to Dialga, so I'm just going to instantly switch into Melmetal. And I'm trying to wait for them to throw, which they do. Generally, if you're in the Dialga situation, you're going to want to try and wait for the Melmetal to throw at least 1 charge move, so that way you can do a little bit more damage, but they ended up throwing right away, which I thought was interesting. So now I'm going to double superpower, and it's always interesting to see how my opponents play this. I realizing that he's shielding, and so that tells me that he wants to regain switch advantage, so that way he can get the Kyogre off of my Giratina, because he's definitely going to lose that matchup in the back if he doesn't do something to sort of change the dynamic there a little bit. So we end up getting off a bunch of superpowers. They double shield, but I lose switch advantage, so tough to say. It just all depends on what they have in the back besides the Kyogre. So my plan is just to farm this thing down and come into the next matchup with loaded energy. I wasn't sure if this was going to be a Draco Meteor. If it is Draco Meteor and I don't shield, I just lose, but thankfully it was an Iron Head. So I'm waiting to see what it's going to bring back in. It ends up being Kyogre, which I thought was sort of interesting, because I'm just going to be able to Thunder or Draco Meteor. I don't know if Draco Meteor one-shots Kyogre because I don't run Draco Meteor on mine, but Thunder is definitely pretty close. And we end up with a mirror match in the back. And we're up a shield, so we're going to take this pretty safely. I'm going to be able to throw the Shadow Ball. I'm going to be able to shield whatever the Giratina throws, and then we're going to go into the Kyogre matchup with lots of energy. But they end up just quitting, so pretty happy there. So technically we're 4-0 with the quit so far in this set, so feeling pretty good about that. Going into the last match here. Let's see who we're up against. I'm really thinking about changing my lineup because I feel like it's not as consistent as it was when I got to rank 10, but I mean, we're hovering around 2985, so maybe I'm just overthinking things. So tough to say. I really want to try Kyogre out because that seems to be a very good Pokemon for Master League now that the meta has evolved quite a bit. We end up getting a Melmetal lead in this matchup, so I'm pretty happy about that. Standard stuff here, switching into Dialga, hoping that they'll throw, hoping that they'll throw, hoping that they'll throw. They end up not throwing, so I know I have to throw. And I throw, and I think I make a mistake here. I make a couple mistakes in this matchup, actually. One was I tried to throw right after he Draco Meteors, which is going to make my Melmetal even weaker, where I probably could have at least done like maybe 1 or 2 more Thunder Shocks after and then thrown, because we barely get to the superpower there and then faint. So that was pretty unfortunate there. So now my plan is to farm down on this Dialga. Really, this is probably where the best buddy boost cost me too, because I definitely would have been able to get that Dialga down before the Draco Meteor went off. So another spot where probably not having best buddy boost cost me, but we still win a lot of matches even without the best buddy boost. You know, I'm not saying that it's a must. You know, I got to rank 10 without a best buddy, so in Master League. So yeah, and we play this pretty good. This is where I think I make the most critical mistake. We still had this match. If I Dragon Pulse here, I am actually going to be able to farm down the Dragonite. This is one of the spots where Dragon Pulse is really good, and I was just too hyphy tapping the button and screwed up. So don't really know what else to say about that. I was kicking myself as soon as I threw the Shadow Ball, and I knew that this was going to be a very tough matchup to win because Melmetal has a ton of energy in the back. I'm expecting like 85% chance that this is probably a bait. He doesn't want to debuff himself and have me Dragon Breath him down. It is. We play that correctly. But he's still going to have two superpowers here. And very unfortunate, but our opponent played well. I did not play as good as I probably should have. And, you know, that's the way it goes. That's why I sort of preach on trying to make as few mistakes as possible in matches. Because you can win bad leads and you can consistently win the games that you're supposed to win. You know, that was a game in a match where I had the advantage and I made a couple of critical mistakes and I lost it, and that was really unfortunate. But hey, it's still a 4-1 set. I'm still happy with the results, and yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. So hoping you guys are liking the content. I'm really trying to put out some heavy volume of videos. I'm pretty new to this Twitch, YouTube stuff, so please like, comment, subscribe. Give me some suggestions if you have any. Hope you guys are all staying safe out there in these crazy quarantine times.